If you're looking for some good Star Trek to fill the void left by today's less than stellar examples, then ReExamined Reads, the Star Trek edition, is for you. We'll review works written in the 1960s all the way up until about 2012. We'll see which ones pass the tests of good writing, plot, characters, and canon, and measure up to the old standard of Trek. We're looking for those books you pick up when you're bored with rewatching all the old school series and you just need that Star Trek fix. We'll cover works written for Star Trek the original series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and even Enterprise. We'll evaluate works on a 1 through 5 star rating system, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. We won't be including Discovery or the J.J. Abrams rewrites. You can find more information on the reasons for excluding these shows, as well as a better look at the rating system on the videos ReExamined Reads Getting Started and ReExamined Reads Rating Star Trek Novels, both located on this channel. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. Feedback is always welcome below, or find us on Facebook and Twitter at ReExamined Reads. On this edition of ReExamined Reads, we take a look at Bloodletter, a Deep Space Nine novel by K.W. Jeter. It was published in 1993 by Pocket Books, a division of Simon & Schuster. It is available on Amazon. See the link below. This novel takes place before the Season 1 Deep Space Nine episode Battle Lines. There are no prerequisite episodes to watch for this book. It was written so early in the series that all the players are well known. So let's take a look at the plot without giving too much away. We all know the history of Deep Space Nine. The station was instrumental in discovering the wormhole a short time after the Cardassians left the Bajoran sector. For the Cardassians, there was always a desire to reclaim that area, as evidenced years later when the Cardassian-Dominion alliance attempted to take back the station. We also know that in the early days, many Bajorans thought that replacing Cardassians as occupiers with the Federation as advisors was trading one oppressor for another. The Cardassians, having given up their claim to the Bajoran sector, are now trying to establish a permanent base at the Gamma Quadrant end of the wormhole, with the hope of establishing sovereignty at that end. When they find out what's going on, the crew of Deep Space Nine rushes to assemble a permanent structure that can be put in place at the Gamma end of the wormhole before the Cardassians can lay claim. They hope to use a Federation quarantine module as a temporary space station to establish a presence until sovereignty becomes legal and recognized. Major Kira is sent with the station as a Bajoran representative, along with Dr. Bashir, who wants to conduct scientific research. In the subplot, a group of fanatics called the Redemptorists, led by a man named Heron, wants Major Kira, who he sees as someone who is collaborating with the Federation, dead. Heron finds a way to sneak aboard what the crew are now calling the substation, which, before leaving Deep Space Nine, his followers sabotaged. Not far into the journey, the substation malfunctions, which leads to all three being trapped inside the wormhole, and the story plays out from there. This book is a good example of the early DS9 writings, and the author has a pretty good grasp of the characters, who at this point hadn't developed much. For example, Kira is still someone with a temper that needs to be reined in, and sometimes we're not sure where her loyalties lie. Dr. Bashir is still immature and on the prowl for every attractive female on the station. So in the end, ReExamined Reads gives K.W. Jeter's Bloodletter a 4-star rating. The work is a little longer than it could be, and I think that detracts from the read. It's slow in places, and I think the author was trying to fill the required space of a novel. That's understandable since he really didn't have that much history to work with in Season 1. If you've got the impression that the subplot regarding the Redemptors sounds familiar, you may be thinking of the Circle of Season 2. Keep in mind this book was published before those episodes aired, so in fairness, Jeter was there first. In the end, when you consider the author only had a dozen episodes to work with before writing, he did a pretty good job. Jeter is the author of many other books, including some for Blade Runner and Star Wars, so if you like this work, look him up. Leave your comments on this book and suggestions for Star Trek novels you would like to see reviewed below. If you really enjoyed this presentation, after you like and subscribe, send a link of this channel to your favorite Star Trek fan. It would be much appreciated. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at ReExamined Reads. As always, thank you for watching.